on board the USS Hornet, which was a very awesome experience. Any of you out there have not had the opportunity to explore this ship, I tell you, if you're in the paranormal and you come to visit California, this is a place to go. Not only does it have historical value to it, but it is definitely haunted. I will say that. I went with a friend who is a sensitive like myself, and I went into it because I've been on board before thinking, hey, I've been on this before. It's nothing. Don't ever do that. Don't ever say that because they prove you wrong. Everything was fine. It took me 2 days to get over my paranormal hangover, as I call it. But I was fine. I went into all the rooms, the admiral's quarters, the mess hall. A friend of mine had an experience going on in the sick bay, which is the infirmary. And since she is a sensitive, there were many lives lost in that area, and we were near a burn ward, the burn unit ward, and she was just feeling it big time. In fact, the tour director had her get up and move to another part of the room because the EVPs were just going crazy around her and stuff. And I was fine in there. Nothing really bothered me. It wasn't until I went into the Vauxhall, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, or the Vauxhall. It's the front of the ship with the anchors. Now, this is the part of the ship that has probably seen the most deaths. This is the area where 28 sailors were washed out to sea in a typhoon. This is also a part of the ship where there have been suicides. One guy hung himself over by a lighting area in that area, and another guy standing right near the area from what the tour guide was saying. One guy got a Dear John letter. This is back in the 40s, and shot himself in the head right there. And it wasn't until the guy started talking about that story and the EVPs were going crazy that I actually had to find a seat and sit down. Can't explain exactly what was going on. It was a weird feeling, almost like a panic attack, which I've been having a few of lately. Anyway, it was definitely haunted. I'm going to say that, definitely. And the EVPs all around were going crazy. Not that they weren't going crazy in other parts of the room, in other parts of the ship, but I definitely felt it there. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine, Renee, and I was telling him my experience. He's a paranormal investigator as well, with my friend Christina George. And he said to me, well, Linda, those sailors know you're a party girl. I go, well, that's not where I was going with this. But, okay, if we're going to crack a joke about it, you might as well laugh about it. Needless to say, I did have a blast, even though I had some strange experience, which I'll probably never forget. And it's not like I've not been on paranormal investigations before. I'm not as active in them as some of my fellow co-hosts here at DTM or other friends in the field, but I do go on about 4 or 5 a year. They're mostly residential. This was a big one. It's the ship. It's a big, huge ship, aircraft carrier. And I guess going into it kind of arrogant, with a little bit of an arrogant attitude, saying, I've been on this before, and the only thing that happened last time was something tugged on my jacket. No big deal. I'll be fine. I did everything right before I went on board with my blessing and my saging and all that. But you never say never in this field. Never say never, because you just don't know what you're going to attract in the underworld. And it just kind of seems like us witches seem to bring this out more. This is not one of the first occasions I've had dealing with the dead. I've been dealing with this since I was a kid. And it was an incredible experience, though. I really enjoyed it, and I will go back again. It's not like I'm going, oh, my God, I'm never going on board that again. Nah, I go back. It's fun. I can handle it. I'm tough. Anyway, USS Hornet rocked. Got to check out that if you're ever in California. I want to talk a little bit about Halloween. I know everyone's enjoying their festivities and whatnot. It is, in my upbringing, I've called it Samhain, depending on what part of Ireland, England, Scotland you're from, Wales. Now, Samhain is celebrated from October 31st at sunset, and it goes all the way until November 1st at sunset. This is the midpoint between the fall equinox and winter, or as I call it, the Witch's New Year. Now, through the ages, rituals surrounding Samhain include bonfires, dancing, feasting, and building, altars and whatnot to honor our deceased ancestors. Let me reiterate this to some of you out there. This is in no way an evil and satanic holiday. You ask any pagan, any witch, any Wiccan, any medicine man or woman, and they will tell you, this is a day to honor your dead. This is a day to honor the people you have loved and lost, and that is simply what it is. It's not a day for slaughtering cats. It's not a day of evil, sadistic crap that goes on this holiday. And it really makes me sad to know that people do this in the name of Samhain, in the name of Halloween, assuming it's an evil holiday and it's geared towards manipulation. It is not. It's simply a day to honor our dead. Now, back in the day, it's considered a great time of power, and it still is till this day. This is when the veil between life and death grows very thin. This is a good time to do seances and conjuring of what certain sorts, if you're experienced in that. If you don't have any experience in that, do not attempt it. Now, usually food is set aside for ancestors and protective spirits and rituals honoring the dead to take place. And even in my own household, every Halloween night, my kids and I get a little paper plate and fill it with some food, even a couple of apple cores, some bread, whatever you have, and we put it outside at night on Halloween night. It's to honor our dead, to feed the dead. There's other traditions that go along with this, like setting a placemat out at your dinner table that night. Even though no one's going to sit there, you're setting it for the dead. These traditions have been going on for thousands and thousands of years. It's not until religion took place 2,000 years ago and made this an evil holiday. However, I remember as a little girl going to church with my grandmother on All Saints' Day, which is November 1st, and lighting a candle for the dead. So, you see how paganism, or should I say, you see how Christianity takes from paganism? Makes perfect sense to me. Now, let's see. What else could I tell you about Samhain, or Halloween, as you like to call it? Some of Halloween's most traditional customs are rooted from the old harvest festivals, such as, the carving of the pumpkin and the bobbing of the apples. This all stems from old Celtic paganism, and it's still going on today. And then there's people in my neighborhood, I don't take down any of my decorations until after November 2nd, just because November 1st has come and gone. We have November 2nd, which is De los Muertos, Day of the Dead, and this is where our Latino population, celebrates their honoring of their ancestors who have passed. So the whole world celebrates pretty much in a very different way depending on culture. But we know what? It's the great web we weave. We're all connected. One earth, one people. Just remember that. We are all one, and we all bleed red. All right, I'm going to go through a quick star forecast for everyone, and then I'm going to have my guest on, who is a published children's book author. He's also the CEO of DTM Radio. We'll have him on in just a minute, but I want to get through a star forecast, and I didn't realize that Next Friday, I will be going live again. This is a pre-recorded show for everybody because I have kids. You know how Halloween and kids kind of go hand in hand. They're not going to understand, Mommy can't go trick-or-treating because I have a radio show. So, luckily, Denny and Tiff have been kind enough to let me pre-record one more time, and I promise we'll go live again next week. But I won't be on until, November. When's the next show for next? Let me check. Friday the 7th, I'll be back live. And I didn't realize we have a full moon the day before that. So I want to kind of go over this with you because it's a big one. So the star forecast. For Halloween weekend, we have the planet Uranus, which is sudden release of energy. It's surprises. It's explosions. And Neptune, which is religion, the Middle East, and delusions. They're going to be in control for a few days. Now, any surprises that we get should be positive in nature because we're in a waxing moon. But never say never. Now, this is a time when it's going to make many of us much happier because we are going to have some nice surprises coming our way. Now, we do have a full moon coming on November 6th. This is going to be in Taurus. With the full moon going into Taurus, I am going to say be prepared for some not-so-great news coming within the stock market and financial issues and their institutions. Taurus is the sign of it's the bull, it's solidity. It's also the banking system. It rules the arts and beauty. But look at Merrill Lynch. When you think of Merrill Lynch, what did they choose subconsciously as their symbol? The bull. That's right. The bull runs money. It's financial institutions. It's the banking industry. You're going to see something happen within the stock market. Now, I just want to reiterate something. 2 weeks ago, last week when I pre-recorded my show, I said we were moving into a Platonic phase. And I said, just because we're in a new moon, the power of Pluto, because Pluto rules life and death and dramatic happenings, I said something major would happen and something dramatic. Well, I think that shooting up there in Washington State was pretty damn dramatic. Don't you? Stars don't lie. And you'll see as you continue to listen to my show and you get educated on the stars, you're going to see a pattern in your news when I talk about certain aspects, and you're going to say, oh, that makes sense. That's why I do it. Sometimes some of my, fans that listen to me say, why do you always have to keep repeating things? I have to keep repeating things because we constantly have new listeners coming on, and I don't want them to be lost. So that's why I keep repeating myself. I know I sound like a parrot in a broken record. I get it. But we have to do that for the others. Like I said, Taurus, back to Taurus, full moon. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so setbacks will occur in any of the areas of love and finance. Yes, Venus is the ruler of love, ruled by Taurus, so therefore you may have some issues in your love life that will affect you. Now, on a more positive note, this is going to be the absolute most perfect time to redecorate your house, rearrange it. Staying close to home and enjoying each other's company is probably best. Taurus is kind of a homebody, home and hearth, and they kind of like to stay with their loved ones and cook a good dinner and enjoy good food with the people they love. That's a Taurus. There's nothing wrong with that. This is actually also a perfect time to better your home environment. So this moon will help many of us out there to achieve this better home environment, better home surroundings. Now, I do want to tell everyone we do have something very interesting that just went into effect 2 days ago. And it's the planet Mars has moved in, which Mars is action. It's moved into Capricorn. Capricorn is the engineer of the zodiac or the father of the zodiac, but it rules structure and discipline. with these two, and it's exalted, meaning it's at its highest point of energy and is powerful. So wherever Mars falls in your chart by house and sign, you're going to be a powerhouse in these areas, a real go-getter. And this is going to stay with us till December 4th of this year, 2014. Wherever you have this placement in your chart, I'm telling you, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Now, for myself, this is moving right in on us, all of us goats, all of us Capricorns out there. This is moving in right on our first house. Our first house is our soul's purpose, okay? You're going to be unstoppable. The goat is going to be unstoppable. I keep telling myself, when am I going to feel this energy? I don't feel it yesterday. I'm not feeling it too much today. I'll keep you posted on that. This goat will keep you informed. Mars is moving into Aquarius' second house. This is Aquarius' house of finance, wealth, and self-esteem. You're going to be a powerhouse in that area, Aquarius. It's moving into Pisces' third house. Third house is ruling communication, short trips, siblings, brothers, sisters. You're going to be a powerhouse, Pisces, in this area just because Mars is in your third house. This is communication. Pisces, watch your words. Choose your words better, because when you have Aries, I know this for a fact because my natal born Aries is placed right in my third house. Permanently. There's no moving it. Pisces usually are when they speak with kindness and love. Most Pisces. People might see a side of Pisces in this phase and go, God, you've changed. Realize that it's just the jurisdiction of the stars, and you're a little more aggressive, and that's what we want with Pisces, to be a little more aggressive in this area. Let's see. Mars is going to move into, what did I say I was on? Pisces. Well, Mars is going to be right there on Aries, fourth house. So Aries, I need you to watch for fire within the home and arguing, because the Lord of War, your own planet, is in your own sign, which is the fourth house, which rules home and emotions, and usually the mother or some sort of mother figure. Try not to be too argumentative with the women in your household or family in general, but be very careful, Aries, with fire, okay? Because you've got that planet moving right through your fourth house, which rules home. Fifth house, and bear with me, I'm winging this. I have no notes today. So this is all going on in my crazy little head. Where was I? Aries, Mars. Going to move into Taurus' fifth house. This is going to be your house of love, romance, children, creativity. With it being in that house for Taurus, you're going to be more aggressive and you're going to get things done in those areas. If there's any Tauruses out there who have been wanting to ask someone out or been wanting to go on a date with someone and haven't had the guts to do it, this placement is going to give you the guts to do it. Trust me. Taurus. Let's see. Gemini. Going all the way down the zodiac here. Gemini. This is going to move into your sixth house, health and service to the world. This is where you may be able to get that promotion at work. You might be able to take control of your health. This is planet Mars' action. It being placed there, you're going to take action in these areas. If you are suffering from health problems, this will help you to get better. It will give you the determination to succeed and to become healthier. Mars and Gemini, sixth house. Let's see. And I'm winging this. Let me jump over to Sagittarius, because that planet, Mars, is moving through their 12th house, and that's right in your subconscious. So with that, Sagittarius is going to be a powerhouse within the subconscious mind. Nothing will be able to be pull the wool over their eyes, so to speak. in this placement. Total powerhouse in this area. You will be more intuitive. You will see through things better with this placement. Let's see. Let me go back down the zodiac here. What was I on? Sagittarius. You know what? I'm going to re-adventure this probably next week when I have notes, because I may have given some inaccurate information. Like I said, I didn't write any notes on this. I just got so excited because Mars has moved into Capricorn. I focused all on my sign and Aquarius, because I know people in my family who are Aquarius, and I didn't focus on anybody else. So with that being said, I'm going to do this all again next week. Okay, so ignore my rant on Mars, and I will re-adventure on this in next Friday. But I want to get to my guest, because I'm so proud of him. And tonight I'm joined by a special guest. He's the author of a children's book called Billy Rabbit's Halloween Adventure. Now, this is a Halloween book, children's book, and Billy Rabbit and his friend Russ, the squirrel, dress up for Halloween and have an adventure filled with courage and fun in their neighborhood. The author of this book is Denny Gager. Denny Gager is not only a children's book author, but he is the CEO and part owner of DTM Wicked Radio. I call him the CEO of this network. Denny, are you with me?
Yes, ma'am. How are you, Linda?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Very good, very good. So, Denny, let me just ask you I have some questions to ask you about your book. I can't wait to order it. I'm going to do that on payday. Very reasonably priced. How did this all come about? Can you explain a little bit?
Sure. Actually, it's thanks to my wife, Tiffany, who actually found my story. But it's actually 7 years ago. My little nephew at that time, now he's not so little anymore, at that time he was looking for a children's book. His mom was for him, because she wanted to get him something there for his birthday. And we were looking on the stores, and everything we came across was either violent or just didn't seem right for him. So I decided, I was going to sit down and write a little short story for him and and read it to him, which I did, and he liked it. And afterwards, I was thinking to myself, it actually was pretty cool. But then I didn't really, do anything with it, because I never really had confidence in myself, as a writer. I always loved writing. So I just put the story away, just saved it until Tiffany came across it. And after that, she told me it was really good, and she actually submitted it, and it actually got picked up, which has been amazing.
Now, what do you mean you submitted it? You submitted it to like a publishing company?
Actually, Tiffany submitted it to Annette at French Point Publishing, and Annette wrote back to me and said she loved it. So it was a really cute story, and she thought it would make a really good children's book.
And Annette Munich is your illustrator, correct?
Yes, she is. She's amazing.
She is amazing. She's a good friend of mine as well, and we love Annette. I love Annette. She's a good friend of mine, and she will be probably doing my children's book in the future.
Yeah, she's just amazing. I literally will be talking, and I told her this is the idea I had for the character, and we're just chit-chatting and whatnot. Next thing I know, about 20, 30 minutes later, she's sending me a sketch, and I'm like, oh, my God, that's what I had in my mind, and she drew it right out.
Yeah, she's amazing like that. Just an incredible talent she has.
Oh, yes.
So let me ask you, I had talked to you, I guess it was yesterday, and I wanted to bring this up on air, and I never asked you if you were comfortable with it, but you had told me about an experience you had yesterday with children and how it just melted your heart. And I know the feeling, because when I published my first children's book, I kind of went around to all the local libraries and read to the kids, and they just melt your heart, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday was just a really touching moment. At work, there's some special needs children. And honestly, special needs kids are the most honest, caring kids there is, because they don't have no games or nothing else. They're just genuine. They come out and tell you something that comes from the heart.
Right. Very true.
And their teacher, who's an aide, actually stopped me, and then she said, "Dennis, can you come here a second?" I said, "Sure." I went over there, and she had 4 of her students sitting right there, and she asked them, she goes, "Hey," she goes, "what did you guys read this morning?" And they're kind of looking at me, and they got smiles, and she goes, "Come on, tell them, don't be shy." They go, "We read your book." And I'm just like, "You did?" And they're like, "Yeah, we said it was really good." And she's smiling at me, and then the one little guy there, he turns around and he says, "But I got scared." I said, "Oh, you got scared? I'm sorry." And he goes, I said, "What'd you get scared of?" "Oh, just the old lady part. That was really scary. But then it was really good afterwards. I liked it. It really made my day. Just seeing their lovely faces, just seeing smiling and the joy it brought to them."
You know, isn't that a beautiful thing when you can do that? I mean, there's something about it as an adult when you see that. It's like a connection you've made. You feel like you've made the child's day just a little bit brighter.
Oh, for sure. I just love that.
Maybe they made your day a little bit brighter.
Actually, it went both ways, because I mean, they were smiling ear to ear, but then the rest of the day, it just really made me. It just made me, you know, I felt, I don't know, it's just hard to explain. I just felt really good, knowing that, you know, that was my goal, you know, just to make children happy and just put a smile on their face when they're reading the story, and now they kick back, you know, they actually got a lesson from it. It's, you know, there's nothing. That's it. They met my goals.
It's all positive too. It's a positive affirmation when you see that and deal with that. The energy that comes from it is just all good. It's the warm fuzzies, you know.
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
Okay, so Tiffany was actually the one who discovered this. You had written this a long time ago then, and just kind of put it away, and she came across it, right?
Yeah, she found it on the computer. We were talking, and I just shared the story with her, and she was like, she loved it, and then that's when she went and, you know, and she actually emailed it to Annette, you know, submitted it, and then Annette wrote back to me and was like, "Oh yes, it was very cute."
And the rest is history. Now, you told me the other day that a big book company has picked it up. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Barnes and Noble. I actually picked it up first thing right on the website, and also you can go in their stores, and if it's not in the stores, they'll order it for you.
Okay, and you can get it on Amazon too?
Oh, Amazon, Kindle, and I believe, not yet, but I know pretty soon it's going to be on Nook as well. Yeah, on the Nooks. The Nooks are basically they're like the Kindle. It's just that they're hooked up through Barnes and Noble.
Okay, that's right. My kids used to have a Nook. I remember that because they always used to say to me, "I need your credit card to be connected to Barnes and Noble." I'm like, I don't know if I want to give you my credit card.
Actually, we're also in touch. It's funny. We're also talking to a few bookstores. The local library picked it up down here in our town as well now. And there's a couple other places that are looking at it, and we're waiting to hear back from a couple of businesses there about, you know, possible signings.
Wow. Do you have any intentions of making it to the West Coast at all, or not?
Well, not right yet, but because this is going to be a series. So we're hoping as more books come out and popularity grows, that we'll be able to maybe go on a tour, like a book tour, and where we can get out there and maybe can come down to the West Coast. It'd be amazing to travel and see.
That would be awesome. Oh, I'd come to see you for sure. I'd bring my kid, get an autograph. I know him. Tell my kids I know him.
So poor lady.
Well, now you're working on a second one. Is that correct?
Yep, actually, the second one's already been submitted in, and that's working on illustrations as we speak, and should be out next week, I believe.
Awesome. And this is can you tell us a little bit about what it is, or is it a big surprise?
I can tell you a little bit. It's actually going to be a Christmas story with Billy and Russ.
Okay.
And I can't really go into too many details. All I can tell you is it's going to be very similar to Halloween. You're going to see the same chemistry with Billy and Russ working together, and it's going to be really fun, I believe, for the kids.
Well, isn't that what it's all about, the kids?
Absolutely.
You know, Jenny, I have to say, when I was doing your stars several months ago, I was seeing something in your chart, but I never pinpointed children's book author. I kind of sat there going, something big is going to happen for him. I just can't pinpoint exactly what it is. I'm just really proud of you because you doing this has actually given me inspiration because I've told you my story with the horrible publishing company I went with, and that's all they're in it for is for themselves. They don't care about the authors or the time you put into creating it. So I stepped away from writing for a while because of it, and then when I saw what you have done, I have to say, you really inspired me, my friend. I'm working on my book now, and it'll get something in about a month or two.
That's amazing. I'm glad, like you inspired me when you did the chart reading, the step outside of my room, outside of my bubble. My wife's been pushing me to come out a little bit because I've always been shy and, reserved, but like I said, ever since I met Tiffany, my life's changed for the better. So that's why I dedicated the book to my wife anyways, because if it wasn't for her, it wouldn't have happened anyways. And I'm very grateful to all my wonderful friends and to you and everybody else that's been encouraging me.
Well, I'm grateful, too. I mean, me moving over to this radio network everything happened so fast, and it was like, I can't explain it really in deep detail because it'll take too long, but there are no accidents in life, and sometimes we meet people for a reason, and it's just as soon as I met Annette, my life kind of changed for the better in the radio world, and I finally found, a network that treats people with respect, and you don't see that in too many other radio networks, and I can speak honestly because I've been to a few of them, and I know. So when I say I'm at a network with people that have good business values, good ethical morals, and are just straight up genuine good people, you would see a picture of you and Tiffany, in my opinion.
That means the world to us. Thank you very much. I mean, that's what we're all about. We wanted to create a network we all can be proud of. We can work together, and because we want to see everybody succeed and grow. I mean, there's issues, there's always issues with. This is the internet after all, and there's always sometimes when we have some shows, stuff happens, but we're always working and we're learning. So if we do have something happens this time, next time there's a show, we're going to be ready for it. But we're very impressed by the numbers that we keep seeing coming in. Your numbers are amazing. Every week they're growing. Our archives are close to 200,000 range on one of the new sites that put us on. That's only been like in 3 months, and I'm just blown away by the incredible response and the great feedback we're getting from people writing in, especially about your show, about Tiffany's show. It's just amazing. It's just I'm so proud of everybody. I'm proud of all our hosts. It's just been this is what it's all about, and this is all we're trying to do. We want to see DTM succeed, and we want to see everybody grow together. And I know as a team we can do anything.
Well, it's definitely a family. I will say that. I've never felt like I've had people have my back more than I have when I was here, and especially with the drama that went down a few weeks ago in the chat. I mean, Benny, in all my years of doing radio, I've never experienced that kind of drama in a chat room, and I just kind of sat there going, there's a first for everything, but poor Denny turned into the hockey referee.
I think a lot of that's due to, honestly, we're growing so fast that we're on so many different sites that you're dragging in some people that, I'm not going to mention their names, there's other networks that like to come in and to bash people and to come into chat rooms and to be rude like that. And that's their way of doing things. That's fine. You know what? Let them come in and do that. I'll boot them out the door because we're going to have good shows and everybody's going to enjoy themselves. And that's just, it's just the way it goes.
Yep, there's always a troll or two in the bunch, is how I see it. But
absolutely.
I did want to ask you, and this is kind of getting away from the children's book, but since we have a little more time left, and I'm trying to keep talking because, like I said, I didn't prepare any notes. I'm winging it. But how is your music rock show going with Shivo? I don't know if I have a lot of people that listen to metal that listen to my show, so there's a great show that comes on Saturday nights. How is that going?
It started out really good. Shivo's been having some technical issues, so he's taking a little break right now. Yeah, he's putting together a new team, and then he's going to relaunch back out here. I'm not quite sure on the date. I believe around the first of the year. He's going to relaunch back out with a new team, but his numbers were great. I will start right off the roof. Everybody got a lot of great feedback. He just having technical issues and whatnot. Cause he's not used to radio. This is the first time for doing internet radio for him, but he's on board. He's a wonderful person. And he just needs he just needs some time to rebuild and get more situated. And then when he comes back, he's got some amazing guests already lined up, and it's gonna be really good for everyone.
That's awesome. I have had an opportunity to listen to the show. I think the first night it aired, and it was a really awesome show. And for those of you out there, Shivo is he the bass player for System of a Down, or is he the guitar player?
Bass player.
He's the bass player for System of a Down, and it's a great show, you guys. DTM has a lot of great hosts and a lot of great shows, and I'm not just pimping that out there because I'm on the network, but, I mean, a lot of the people on your network I'm good friends with, Christina George, Chris George, Jason Stanton, all these names, Jody. We're all a big family.
Yes, we are. Everybody does a great job. Chris George is on Friday nights, of course. Christina's on Monday and Wednesday nights. And also Sundays. I forgot about that. I don't want to forget about that. She's on like every other Sunday. So poor Christina is everywhere. It's amazing.
It is amazing. I mean, it's a great lineup, and I just hope you guys just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and just keep growing. The more we throw it out there, I don't see why it wouldn't,
Well, that's the plan. We want to keep on going. I mean, we've seen a lot of great internet radio stations fall apart, and nothing against nobody. I'm just saying it did it because some people, they're all off for themselves, like the owners are, and that's not what we're about. We want everybody to succeed, and to do that, we all have to work together. And we're looking to new avenues and looking into new ways. I mean, eventually I want to get a good phone system in, so when we're doing live shows, people can just call in and listen to the shows that way through their phones. Now, I found some that will work, but I don't want that. I want to get something that's going to work with no issues. So that takes a little longer. We're working on video right now. We're just testing out that a little bit. So that's something down the road we want to try to, move into a little bit too as well. But also, we're not going to lose our roots. Radio is where we started from, and that's where we're gonna. That's our main division.
I have to tell you something. I'm always the one giving readings to people, and it's hard for me to read myself except for my astrology stars. I really can't do my own tarot readings. It's hard. That's not really how you're supposed to do it. But someone did my cards the other day, and one of the things they said to me was, because of this hidden dragon I have in Gemini, it's called duality, and things always happen to me in twos, and the lady's doing my reading, and she says, you're getting ready to launch a second radio show, aren't you? And I'm going, and you know what we talked about, I still want to do that music show, I just have to wait till January, but I have found the right female. She's Canadian.
That's awesome.
So, it looks like in my own stars, I will be doing a second radio show. Folks, it has nothing to do with astrology. It's nothing metaphysical. Trust me. It's probably be right after Shivo's show.
Yes, it will. That'd be awesome.
Yes, so I am looking forward to working with you on that in the near future. I didn't forget about it. I haven't brought it up because I kind of have to wait because the other party and myself both decided, since we're both single moms, we have to wait until after the holidays to adventure into this. But I did find someone to come on board with me, and you are absolutely right. There are no females that do metal and punk shows. It's very far and few between.
Absolutely. That's why I said we knew you'd be perfect for it. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. I have a whole bunch of bands lined up that are local from here, and I'm sure my co-host up in Canada will have a whole bunch of local bands, and then eventually, maybe we can move, when you guys get the license, we can move right into the other bands, the signed ones.
Yes, you won't believe the music license is really crazy. I'm not going to mention no names, nothing, but all I'm going to say is there's a lot of stations out there that are in major violation, even with the music streaming license that are out there.
Really? So they're in violation?
Oh, yes. If they ever come and check on the archives, call us after the show, and we can go in more detail. I can't say too much on the air because we had a really long talk. But a music streaming license is only good for one song for 1 hour. If you go anything above that, let's just say you're $15,000 fine.
For one song?
If you go over one song, it's $15,000 fine.
I didn't have no idea.
Yeah, like I said, call us after the show and you'll see. It's very complicated. But we're working on it. We're still looking into it. We're just trying to do it the right way.
And that's how you do it. If you don't do it the right way, you get burned in the end. So I have no problem waiting, because doing it the right way is the better way, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I guess I agree with you. Plus, also, you know what? I think the unsigned artists and everything, they need a place where they can have a voice and get their music out there. Because everybody's always out for the big artists anyways. If you give the local bands, I think, a chance, people will be shocked, because they're just amazing musicians out there.
You're absolutely right, because when I put a post out that I was getting ready to, thinking about launching a radio show for unsigned artists with metal and punk, you should see how many emails I receive from local metal bands in just my area and the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm set for probably, if I launch a show, I'm set with music from unsigned bands for probably 10 weeks straight. That's how much music I have sent to me.
That's amazing.
And in fact, one of the bands that will be the first band that comes on my show is called Skate for State, and they're a punk band, and they're playing a live show this Friday night with some other big metal band. They're not signed yet, but they're really, really good, and they're kids. I mean, they're kids, like under 20, and they're young, and they're good. It's amazing.
Oh, I know. I'm just blown away by some of the people out there that are just so talented. Like, just for example, Sean Austin. I don't know if you know him. He's Christina's co-host on her Sunday show.
Yeah.
He's a songwriter. He's a singer, and he sent one of his songs to us there. If we wanted to use him on the show, we were floored. He's amazing. His vocals are. I tell you, I can't believe you're not signed. He just laughed. He said, he said the recording world's just a crazy place.
I believe it. There is a lot of talent out there that is so hidden and nobody knows of, and that's why we need to do more radio shows like this for the underground, for the people that aren't signed, because the only way they're going to get known is through exposure, and we kind of have to be the conduits for that. Absolutely,
and that's why I think your show will be amazing for that.
Well, I'm excited, and what I'm working on, and one of the other reasons I postponed is because I want to get better equipment myself, headset-wise and stuff. I'm working on that. Even for my own show on Friday nights, this show we do, I need a little bit better equipment, and it'll happen in time. It's baby steps for all of us, myself, you and Tiffany, getting everything together. It's all baby steps, but it will all come together.
Oh, absolutely. what Tiffany said, same thing. It's all going to come together, and it's going to be amazing when it's all done.
It is, and I'm honored and I'm proud to be part of this family. It's been an awesome experience, and I think it's just going to get better.
And we're glad to have you and everybody else. We're very proud of all you guys.
Thank you so much. We're going to probably cut out a little bit early today. Like I said, it is a pre-recorded show. It is Halloween, and I know some of you out there want to get the party started and get some festivities going. I do apologize for my Mars blunder. This is what happens when I don't get notes written down. I kind of get ADD in my head and jump ahead of myself, and I should not do that, but I'm a victim to my own stars as well. So I apologize, but Mars is in Capricorn. I know that much. But the rest of them, don't quote me on. I'll bring that back next week and redo it the right way and give you all the right information. Denny, it has been so awesome having you on the show. You and Tiff have been awesome, and I'm honored to have you as my guest.
Thank you very much. It's been the pleasure's been all mine. It's just wonderful being on, and I really appreciate you, plugging Billy Rabbit's Halloween Adventure and plugging the upcoming Christmas book on Billy Rabbit Saves Christmas. And
everybody, I want you to go out there and buy the book, Billy Rabbit's Halloween Adventure. It's a great little book. I'm going to be ordering it. You can get it pretty much Barnes & Noble, Amazon. And if you can't find it, you know who to contact. I know the connections. Denny, it's been awesome. We'll be in touch soon. Everyone out there in DTM world, you guys rock. I want you to have a happy, safe Halloween. And I will return next week with full Scorpio forecast and the Mars forecast. And I think I'm also going to be doing some live tarot readings, so don't miss out on that. I'm in the mood to read the cards next week, and I'll have BJ with me probably co-hosting. So, Denny, I want you to have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.
You too. Have a great night.
All right. Good night, everybody.